Hey, it's the History of Heavy, episode 19. This is the show that traces the chronology of heavy music across genres, song by song. And today we are talking about Coven and their song Wicked Woman from 1969. For those of you not familiar, Coven was an occult rock band from Chicago formed in the mid-60s who made some really cool and great music. Now you're probably thinking that doesn't sound super heavy to me, Mike. Why is that song included? Well, I'll tell you why. It is not because it is necessarily sonically heavy. It is because of the connection that the band Coven has, or maybe does not have, with the mighty Black Sabbath. Coven's debut album, Witchcraft Destroys Minds and Reaps Souls, was released in 1969, a full 8 months before Black Sabbath's self-titled debut record came out in 1970. The bands definitely share kind of a dark aesthetic mood and tone, at least visually, on their first two records. But more than that, the first track on Witchcraft Destroys Minds and Reaps Souls is called Black Sabbath. Well, maybe that's attributable to the fact that the Boris Karloff movie of the same name had some popularity at the time, so potentially that makes sense. But there's more. Coven can be seen on the back of that first album, or maybe it's on the gatefold, I don't exactly recall, doing the devil horns. This is well before Geezer Butler ever did that from the stage, and certainly well before Ronnie James Dio. Coincidence? Maybe. More than that, the bass player of Coven's name was Oz Osborne. Yes, I don't think that John Ozzy Osbourne, that we all know and love, necessarily was influenced to change his name by the bass player of Coven, but it is an interesting coincidence. Important to note that Tony Iommi claims to have never have heard of the band at the time in the late 60s, early 70s, which makes sense. They were kind of a cult band, and one band was in Chicago and one band was in Birmingham, England, obviously well before the internet. So these are potentially all just coincidences, but interesting to note nonetheless. Check out Coven. That record is worth listening to, if only for the novelty, but I had to include them in our timeline because of their connection to Sabbath. Stay heavy.